Good day, dear children. Today we'll be doing a poem from your Hornbill textbook. The title is The Voice of the Rain by Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman was an American poet, journalist, and an essayist born on 31st May 1819, and he lived till 26th March 1892. His collection of verse titled Leaves of Grass, first published in the year 1855, is a landmark in the history of American literature. The poem primarily talks about the natural phenomenon of water cycle behind the formation of rain. The poet emphasizes on the cyclic activity of water and thus shares the realization that the process in his creation of the poem is the same cyclic process going on in nature. Now let's begin the poem. And who art thou? Said I to the soft falling shower, which strange to tell gave me an answer, as here translated. The title of the poem is The Voice of the Rain, and thus we come to know that rain is personified. The poet considers rain as a person, and he is asking the soft falling shower, "Who are you?" To which the rain replied in a strange manner. The rain giving an answer to a human being's question may appear strange, but the poet is trying to instill the idea that only a sensitive and creative person can converse with nature and animals, and the language of that communication is not known to ordinary, conditioned minds. This is why the poet uses the word translated. If one is sensitive enough, one can listen to the voice of the rain, thunder, breeze, and a vast variety of poetic melody in nature, and then it is never a noise anymore, but it becomes a voice. Now let's move on to the next lines. I am the poem of earth, said the voice of the rain. Eternal I rise, impalpable out of the land and the bottomless sea. Upward to heaven, whence, vaguely formed altogether, changed and yet the same. I descend to lave the droughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe, and all that is in them without me were seeds only, latent, unborn. The rain answers, I am the poem of earth. The earth is creating endless poetry every moment, and thus rain also becomes the poem of the earth. The next line, eternal I rise, impalpable, out of the land and the bottomless sea. So the rain further tells the poet that it rises upwards from the land and the sea towards heaven, that is towards the sky, in the form of vapors. That is, it changed its form. It becomes impalpable or something that cannot be touched at this stage, and its formation is not clear, that is vague, vaguely formed. Though it is changed altogether, it still remains the same. Here the poet explains the formation of the rain-laden clouds. Now let's move on to the next line. I descend to lave the droughts, atomies, dust layers of the globe. What does the poet mean by this? The rain comes down to wash the drought and provides water to the dry land. It also washes away the dust and small particles from the earth's surface. And all that in them, without me, were seeds only, latent, unborn. So here the rain emphasizes that the seeds inside the earth grow into a plant because of the water provided by the rain. It gives life to the seeds, and in its absence, they would remain latent or hidden and unborn. And forever, by day and night, I give back life to my own origin and make pure and beautify it. So the rain again proceeds to say that by day and night, all the time, it provides life, care, enrichment, and water to the place from where it originated. The rain keeps enhancing the beauty and purity of the earth by preparing a life cycle for itself again. The above lines gives us a clear picture of the water cycle, and that too poetically explained. Now let's move on to the last lines. For song issuing from its birthplace, after fulfillment, wandering, wrecked or unwrecked, duly with love returns. The last two lines of the poem, written within brackets, do not form a part of the conversation between the rain and the poet. These lines are the significant lines of the poem, wherein lie the essence and the poet's purpose of writing this poem. The rain is compared to a song that originates from its birthplace, just like the heart of the singer. It travels to fulfill the earth's needs and wanders and finally comes back to the place from where it originated, irrespective of whether it is taken care of or not. That is the meaning of wrecked or unwrecked. It returns to the original position with lots of love to its birthplace. Here, Whitman tries to emphasize that earth or nature is a greater poet, and the poet is gifted with a language to listen to the poetry of nature and translate it. The poet derives an unseen inspiration from the life around, which takes a new shape in his mind, and it returns as a poem to the world in order to beautify and purify it. The poem reminds us of the beautiful conversation that can be done with nature and animals beyond the usual communication or conversation with human beings and other gadgets. An intimate conversation with nature will definitely enrich and beautify our inner selves. Only those who can maintain the essential goodness and sensitivity within would surely be able to discover more music and poetry around. The poet has used several literary devices to enhance the beauty of the poem. The first one is personification. The rain is personified in the poem, and the line, I am the poem of earth, reveals this. The second one is metaphor. Example is again, I am the poem of earth, and here you find the rain is compared to the poem of earth. The third one is hyperbole, which means exaggerated statement for improving or increasing the effect of whatever is said. Here the example is bottomless sea. And the fourth one is imagery, which is the visual description or pen picture of something. Example, soft falling shower. Thus we come to the end of the poem. Thank you, children.